Hello and happy Tuesday. Welcome to our Client Spotlight Facebook Live. My name is Nikki Wetzel. I am the Director of Communications and Advancement here at Prosperity Connection. We are a local St. Louis nonprofit that provides free financial education and coaching to help St. Louisans build the confidence, knowledge, and skills to enhance their financial wellness, reach their financial goals. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today. We have another wonderful client with us, Otis. He's going to introduce himself here in just a second, and got a list of questions I'm going to walk through just to help him talk about his journey with our financial coaching. And if you end up with any questions for Otis, anybody that joins, please feel free to put those in the chat. Only if he feels comfortable will he answer, but you can shoot your shot. You can put something out there. We'll see if he feels comfortable. But again, just thank you for joining us. Really, really excited to dig into Otis's journey, his story with financial coaching. So Otis, take a second, introduce yourself for us.
Thank you for that. Otis McClure. I am just a guy who's trying to get his finances right. I learned about Prosperity Connection through my girlfriend, Liz. She's been with you guys for quite a while.
Awesome. I mean, she was a trailblazer. She was
Yes,
with us so
absolutely.
many years ago, went away, came back. I mean, she's incredible. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Liz is part of the dang family now.
Yeah, she's fam. We got together, we had the conversation about finances and if we're gonna build a relationship, we gotta have those hard conversations
Ooh,
about,
yes.
finances and, what we want to build and what we want to go for and things like that. So she introduced me to Sasha, and everything's been up from there. It's been a really great experience.
Well, I mean, that kind of addresses like what made you want to come. So, but
Absolutely.
Liz.
I mean, yes.
Yes, yes. No, we love it. No matter how you come in our door, we're just so happy that you're here. Like he and I were just talking before the live started, but there can be so much shame and blame and judgment and nerves around finances. So to me, what's most important is that you stick around. You have a great
Absolutely.
experience, and you're part of the family, not just Liz. But Liz is one of our awesome volunteers now. So just, I mean, kind of showing that trajectory of journey. She started
Yeah.
as a client too, and now she's a volunteer. And maybe someday we'll get you to do this too.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah. Absolutely. Game
Oh,
for
perfect.
absolutely.
So that's kind of how you started with us. So what made you want to start financial coaching? So now let's think about like the start of your journey. So where or what areas did financial coaching kind of help you identify where you could improve maybe some habits or behaviors?
Habits definitely saving
Okay.
first off.
Yeah.
I grew up with saving being the concept of, you just save your entire paycheck, but
Okay.
simultaneously you pay all your bills at the same time. So it's
Okay.
like, yeah, so it's like I'm saving the whole paycheck, but I'm also spending the whole paycheck on bills and groceries and things like that.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly with prosperity, you do not have to do that. You don't have to do it that way. And it really just opened my eyes to just kind of the processes of, you don't have to save all at once per se,
Mhm.
but you can save a little bit at a time
Yeah.
over, X amount of time, depending on what your goals are.
Yeah.
Um, and now I know how to, when I get my paycheck, I don't get as full of anxiety, like, oh my God, I made this much and it's already gone.
Yeah.
I can just look at it, it's like, okay, I can put this aside. I know this bill is coming out. I know we got a grocery shop.
Yeah.
I got that pre-order at GameStop I want to get, things like that.
Love
So
it.
I get more comfortable with saving and spending too.
Yeah. Love that. Reduced anxiety. We know
Yeah,
how anxiety inducing finances are. So I love hearing that. And I feel like you're kind of speaking to the idea of something that we really try to do is like show you how to make it work for you. Because for
absolutely.
some people, sure, maybe saving one whole paycheck and paying bills out of one whole year works, but like that is not everybody. That is
Yeah.
probably not the majority. So really figuring out like what schedule and like flow works for you. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And Liz even, she's probably watching right now. But she's even, when we had the conversation, she's just like flat out, how do you save money?
Okay.
And I told her the way that I was used to, and she was like, yeah, so no, but that's okay. Room for
Yeah.
improvement, and we just press play from there.
And honestly, like I just want to even go back to the fact that this is kind of who introduced you, but you stayed for you. Like I love that hoping more and more couples are thinking like that because finances are, if I remember correctly, the number one cause of divorce and breakups. And again, going back to the shame and blame and going back to the anxiety, it can feel really scary to start that conversation.
Yeah.
Because none of us know what we're talking about. Like we've
No.
been taught this stuff. So just being open and vulnerable enough to having that conversation and
Yeah.
figuring that stuff out together is it's gonna make me weepy. So so this might be it might be the same answer, but I just want to ask like kind of a follow-up question. So has financial coaching changed your views on managing money? And if so, how? Yeah.
Absolutely. It doesn't seem like a insurmountable
Mm,
thing to do anymore.
yeah.
I know that if I want a new car
Hmm.
or new game system,
Yes, we
which you know, and a lot of people they say like a games using the game system example, like the PS5, which that was one of my goals. You know.
love there. Maybe you you say PS5 like that is
Do it.
do it.
Do
It doesn't have to be I want a PS5, get you PS5.
it. Any person with finances, I like to start off small, because for me personally, bigger goals I know they're attainable, but they can seem like so, like such a huge deal because it's like, all right, I want to get a car, I want to get, a Hellcat or something like that. And it's like, those are
Yeah.
super expensive. And if you're anything like me, you have that goal in mind and
Mhm.
then you look at that price tag and you kind of start to talk yourself out of it a little
You
bit, but you lose motivation.
yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of start off small,
Right.
but yeah, it makes me look at finances a lot differently. Like I can start off small and build up bigger and not feel bad about it. Like everybody's goals are different. So I wanted a PS5, got PS5.
Yeah.
Next maybe a car
Mhm.
or I don't know, the PlayStation 6,
Yeah.
whenever that comes out, things like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, financial coaching definitely makes me see the why, and what I'm saving for, and that is just possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I love the small steps when I was a coach. Like that's one thing we talked about because yeah, like saving for a car can seem so far off. And so I'm a big challenge champion of rewarding yourself. So
Yeah,
creating these little rewards as you're on your way. Like
absolutely.
okay, I've got 5,000 towards my car. Let me get that PS5
Yep.
too. And like okay, now I've got 10,000 towards my car. Let me go. I don't know, buy a Birkin. I have no idea. I'm not a designer for a girl, but. So yes, I love the small steps. I love starting small, going big because yeah, it can feel so intimidating to just be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy a house in a year. And some people they know it and they've got that motivation. They know how to do it. I know one of them's on there. Hi, Dearest. Shout out to you, girlfriend. But like sometimes you do need to like start small and move
Absolutely.
towards that big goal. Love it. All right. Any specific advice that Sasha gave you, or any key takeaways from your sessions with her that like really stood out? Something that was like light bulb moment.
Um, being as realistic as possible with your
Yeah.
finances because it's really easy to kind of play the comparison game. Like this person makes X amount an hour, I only make this an
Hmm.
hour. You know, Yes, that's true. It is what it is,
Mhm.
but everybody, like we said before, everybody's goals are different. Our motivations are different. Just kind of keep like a tunnel vision of what you want to save for,
Yeah.
and never be afraid to ask questions. You know,
Yes.
I don't think in the world of finances there's a bad question.
Nope.
I mean, you're gonna have moments where when you're doing the financial coaching, you know, maybe that savings plan it'll change a little bit. Maybe you
100%.
get a different job or the job that you're at, maybe your hours got reduced for one
Yeah.
reason or another, but that doesn't mean that the goal is completely thrown to the wayside. You can
Yep.
still do it. You just have to be intentional about it.
Yes.
So Tasha's always like really, you know, a great cheerleader, just
Yeah.
saying, you know what, you know, your financial plan here, we kind of went off the rails a little bit, but it's not impossible to get you back where you need to be
Yeah.
or where you want to be.
Yeah, Sasha's wonderful. And I love that mindset because, again, I think that's part of why so many people fall off of budgeting or fall off of
Yeah.
savings is and I don't know why we have this expectation, but you kind of expect yourself to be perfect. And
Yep.
if you ever fall
Yep.
off, it's like, oh, well, I'm no good at it. Like, I must suck at
Mhm.
budgeting. I'm going to stop budgeting. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, there are going to be ups and downs. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about having someone like
Absolutely.
Sasha. She's there to remind you, hey, it's okay. Let's pivot, or your hours went down. Hey, let's pivot that. Like there's always some adjusting that can be done.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen people that they don't make that much,
Mhm.
but you know they stick with their goals and they end up getting that car that they want. That one of my friends, he's not a part of Prosperity Connection, but he does financial coaching. He doesn't make a super great amount,
Yeah.
but the guy just bought a boat. You know, it took him a while, but
Yeah.
he did it. You know, and also to add to that
Mhm.
advice, I think, and this is just in my personal experience, I think that a lot of us could do better about not putting a specific time frame on things. I think that's okay,
Yeah.
but I think sometimes we tend to put too short of a time
Yeah.
frame. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, you know, in a year I'm going to get a house. You know, a lot can happen in a year.
So much.
Yeah, a lot can happen in a year. Job law, you know, I don't want to go down
Yeah.
the whole
Yes.
list, but a lot can happen in a year. But I think you still keep your goal in mind and, you know, not necessarily focus on the perfection part of it. Just just keep at it.
Yep. Having a realistic time frame, I think, is so important. And again, not to toot Sasha's horn, but to toot Sasha's horn. That's the beautiful thing about having coaches like Sasha. They can really kind of give you that reality check. Like,
Absolutely.
so you want a Hellcat in 6 months? Tell us more about that. Like maybe not. But
So
anyway,
really pricey
really
vehicle.
nice of you.
Yeah.
Okay, Google it after this. But like, can you give you that realistic like gut check? Like, hey, love that goal for you.
Right.
Let's make it 24 months and not 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because again, what we don't know, and so
Mhm.
buying a car in 6 months or buying a home in a year may feel realistic, but when you
Yeah.
really sit down and look at your personal situation and whatnot, you may realize that's not. And again,
Absolutely.
that's okay. You
Right.
just gotta pivot. Yep. Awesome. All right. Have you specifically, share as much or little as you're willing, encountered any challenges when putting Sasha's advice into practice, and how have you handled them?
Definitely. With job, like my hours would kind of fluctuate.
Yep.
So, you know, my paychecks would look a little differently and um I would still be able to save, but maybe not that specific amount
Yeah.
that we set forth, you
Yeah.
know, when we began. But I might have to try to get some extra hours, or I'll even go do some Instacart or you
Yeah.
know, just something like a little side hustle or
Yeah.
something like that. Even those don't always work out. You
Yeah.
know, you may have a Instacart run where you're just like, you know, I'm gonna try to get $100 today. You might only get 75.
Yeah.
and you can just kind of split that in half, put this in savings, the rest goes to your pocket,
Yeah.
and you just kind of pick it up from there. But yeah, just I'd say that and maybe my spending plan.
Okay.
And I know when Sasha watches this, we're gonna have to talk about that. Um, the spending plan, it definitely works, but you definitely have to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
I've fallen a little short on that, but I can still get back on it
Hmm.
and get back to where I was before. But in the long run, it still works. Like the
Yes.
challenges happen, they appear, but it doesn't make anything impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Sasha is watching, so she's probably like laser eyes right now.
Sasha Fierce.
Sasha is very here today. Let's talk about some goals. So I'd love for you to talk maybe about some goals you have achieved, maybe some you've either had to change or even new ones that have come up, like, hey, I already crossed this one off my list. So just walk me through your goals
Yeah.
journey.
So as we said before, starting off, I was like, man, I want the PlayStation 5. Everybody's got one. I want one, and granted, I think it was like $500 at the
Yeah.
time, but not everybody has
Yes.
$500. It's not as easy to come across for everybody. So I got that. My next goal is definitely a new car.
Okay.
Not
Not a healthy.
no, no, no. I've just been kind of free browsing around with that. And I've got to get with Sasha to just kind of sit down and plan like a number amount, things like
Yeah.
that, bells and whistles, all
Yeah.
that good stuff. And also beyond that, Liz and I were planning on moving, so we've been looking at houses, apartments, things
Yeah.
like that.
To
So the long run, we're looking at California.
okay. Yeah.
Looking at California, but we're we're kind of taking that process
Yeah.
slowly. California ain't cheap.
Oh, I went there for 2018 and it is wild.
So you know.
It's San Francisco, one of the expensive areas. We went down to the Silicon Valley area, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
how different it can be. Just yeah. Anyways, yes. So okay, so big goal. Yeah, California. Okay.
But in the meantime, we've been kind of looking at places around here in St. Louis. We're still looking at staying in like South City area.
Nice.
Um, but aside from that, we just kind of want to get our house together, or I'm sorry, our apartment together. So we are doing a lot of out with the old and with the new, and just kind of working together on that. And she's progressing through school right now. I know she's wanting to get a new vehicle as
Yeah.
well. So we just kind of putting our brains
Yeah.
together and figuring it out a day at a
So
time.
yeah, because those are some big goals.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Maybe it's too terribly soon. You have to be here before you leave St.
Absolutely.
Louis.
Definitely.
Anything else before I move on? That's not enough. That's amazing.
That's it for right
Okay,
now.
cool.
Yeah.
How has financial coaching in general, or maybe even specifically about Sasha, made you feel more confident in your financial future?
It makes me feel more confident in the fact that I have a plan
Yeah.
on saving. It's not just, blind saving
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll just, put $100 up here and then
Yeah.
another 200 here, and then it throws everything off balance later on because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you save, the $300 or whatever, but then when you go to the movies, and this is after paying bills, groceries, and whatnot, you go to the movies, you're looking at account, it's like, oh, I don't have as much as I thought.
Yeah.
So now I got to go into savings,
Yeah.
pull that out, pay for the tickets, the popcorn, soda,
Yes.
things like that. Now it's like I can sit down, be like, okay, I know I can save this amount.
Yeah.
I can put this aside. This is paid for. This is paid for. This is what we have left, and I don't have to touch my savings or, what's the phrase? Rob Peter to pay
Hey, Paul.
Paul. I don't have to do that. I don't have to worry about
Yeah,
that. But
that's
it just makes you feel more confident about when you get paid and just when you go to swipe your card or
great.
grab that cash out or whatever, you don't have that shopper's guilt.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
like, oh, I know for a fact this is what I have to spend, nothing more, nothing
Yeah.
less.
Oh, that's such a huge thing because I think that's one of the other things that I heard a lot when I was coaching, like kind of that you get into that scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And people, when we would start coaching or start building a budget, their first like instinct was that I was gonna like deprive them of going to the
Yeah.
movies or buying the PS5s, or I had a couple clients who getting their nails done every 2 weeks was really, really important to them. Like, no, no, no. Like, this is not about scarcity. This is not about depriving yourself. This is it's called a, I love that you said it, spending plan. Instead of budget, we tend to try to say spending plan better because that's literally all you're doing is making a plan for how you're spending your money. We just want you to account for your dollars in places we don't necessarily want
Right.
you to deprive yourself of things that you want, things that are important to you.
It's not minimalizing your lifestyle. Going into it at first, that was kind of my
Yeah.
assumption, and that was just based off of what I'd seen from other people that went through financial coaching, or they went through it but didn't really finish it
Yeah.
because they, as soon as they heard like, oh, maybe you should cut out or cut back on this particular habit, they were just like, no, I'm out, I need this,
Yep.
and it's not all of that because it's an investment on your life, so that's your absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, because when I went into it, I was like, man, I gotta stop going out to the
Yeah.
movies. I gotta stop doing
Yeah.
this. Yeah, and Sasha opened with like, you can still do these things, but let's look at everything that you have, like with your bills, your basically your priorities.
Yes.
You still can do these things, you can enjoy them, but let's focus on the priorities and then all of the, fun incentives or whatnot. We'll see where we're at with that, but you can still enjoy them.
Yeah. Maybe you
Absolutely.
don't go to 5 movies a month. Maybe you go to two. Like,
Right,
you just
absolutely.
make it so it's never gonna have to be some tiny things, like depending on what your goal is.
Right.
But like you said, it's an investment in your life.
Yep.
If it means going to the movies twice a month instead of 5 times a month, but at the end you're gonna have a Hellcat, then maybe 2 movies a month is a good thing.
So be it.
So be it. So yeah, awesome. I have one last question for Otis. So just one last call and reminder that if you have a question or anything, please pop it in the chat. So if someone was thinking about starting financial coaching, your friends out in the community, someone that catches this later on, and they were thinking about starting, what would you tell them based on your experience? It can be advice, it can be encouragement, it can be both. What would you say to them?
I would definitely start off with, like we discussed before, it's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you invest the energy and the
Yeah.
time, and
Not money though, because
not the money.
we're
No,
free.
right. You basically invest yourself into it, stick with it. Because a lot of us out here, we live paycheck to paycheck because that's the state of the economy. It is what it is, but you can still do that and have a comfortable life for yourself. You don't have to necessarily cheap out on anything. You don't have to like in the cartoons where they have like a can of beans and a slice of bread. You don't have to do all of that. But I would just encourage them like, hey man, especially my fellas. A lot of my male friends, they are, I'm not talking bad about them, but
Yeah.
they're very prideful,
Yes.
overly so, I think.
Yeah.
In how they handle their
Yeah.
finances. Because you make more doesn't necessarily mean like that you'll have more.
Yeah.
It's about how you spend it and Where are you putting your money to? You know, what are you buying? What are your spending habits? You know, so I would just encourage them to just give it a try. Really give it a try.
Yeah.
Like, don't go to 2 sessions and be like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. I knew it wouldn't work. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay to ask for that help. It's okay to get that help and utilize it. Like that's what the resources are here for, and it works out.
I appreciate you saying that so much, Otis.
Yeah.
We notice by and large that our clientele does tend towards lean towards women. So fellas, I hope you take that to heart. Like again, our system is not set up for us to succeed and for us to know these things. There is literally no shame in not knowing these things. We were not taught these things. We are not in a system where it's easy to understand. And asking for help is okay. So, fellas, we would love to have you. Please come on over. We have wonderful coaches that would be so happy to help you.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh, my internet. Hopefully, I have not cut out yet. If we have, we're towards the end, so not the end of the world. But anyways, so thank you for bringing that up, Otis. I really, really appreciate that because it's true. Society tells us certain things, and I feel like stereotypically, society tells men that you should already know what you're doing. You're the head of the household and you're the provider and you're the leader and you should know everything. And that is not true. Like, do not believe that lie. It is okay to not know, and it's okay to ask for help. So yeah. Any last thing? Those were all my questions. Um,
Um, that's what I could think of. I just thank you guys for having me. Prosperity Connections definitely changed my life individually. Because, like I said before, I had no idea what the concept of saving was, or I didn't have a true concept of what saving was. Financial literacy, things like that. Like I had no idea about it. You know, I just always thought, you work, the more you make, but then it's like you just kind of burning yourself out, and then you do all this hard work, you burn out, and then you have nothing to show for it.
yeah.
So I really just thank you guys for just opening my eyes to a new path of like what can be.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Otis. Sasha, I hope you're listening and I hope you're crying because that was very, very sweet. But thank you, Otis, for your
Absolutely.
ability, for being willing to share. We appreciate that so much. We have so much fun talking to you and celebrating you. Great time as always. So thank you. I hope you all enjoyed that. I did and learned some stuff and maybe were encouraged to sign up for coaching. So looking ahead to September, just so y'all know, on September 11th, we're going to have a Facebook Live with a bankruptcy lawyer. We know bankruptcy is not fun or sexy to talk about. It's one of those shame and blame things, but we also know that there's a lot of misinformation out there. And we want to make sure that if it is an option that needs to be on the table for you, that you have the correct and safe information. So Wednesday, the 11th, September 11th, we're going to do that. And then we have a really fun and exciting Facebook Live on the 24th, I believe, of September, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. Our two Spanish speaking coaches are going to do an entire Facebook Live in Spanish about the services that they're trying to extend to the Spanish speaking community and all the work that they're doing and the things that they can do to help you. So if you have a friend or family member that is Spanish speaking and that is interested in our services, please share that with them. Those events will probably go up before the end of this week. So yeah, feel free to catch those in September. Thank you again for joining. Thank you.